Bum ba da ba 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 ba. G'day mates, and welcome to another adventurous sketchbook tour with me, Johnston Blackhorse, the one and only. And I apologize for that bad Australian accent. Oh man, I got to practice my Australian accent just to make it a little more clean and crisp. But I usually like to get a kick out of it by trying to pronounce Western bacon cheeseburger. Yeah, right. I'm just a guy with an Australian accent, trying to, you know, driving up to a drive-through, and I lost it already. Trying to order a Western bacon cheeseburger. I gotta watch more Crocodile Dundee movies or something. Anyway, on with the sketchbook tour. Welcome to my YouTube subscribers, Patreon patrons, followers, fans, and generally anyone who happens to stumble across these wonderful, delightful videos. And I'm Johnston Blackhorse, the one and only, and these are my sketchbook tours. Now, this is the sketchbook from last week, just doing a continuation, and here's the page that we left off with. And as you can see, is a few rough sketches. I think that's trying to be me again. I think I had didn't quite have a bowl cut, but when I shave my head, like my hair will like naturally like turn into somewhat of a bowl cut a little bit, and just a female figure drawing. The face, her face is a little distorted. I'm so glad I can draw faces better nowadays. I just see so many flaws and faults, like looking over my old sketches and such. Yeah, he's a cool-looking chick. Just many distorted parts of her body that just irk me. Anyway, whoa. Shoot. I guess with my new editing software, I can edit that out. But just to cover this up in a little bit, little ways. But just going in for a close-up to just show you some of the ink work that I started playing with way back when. And I can't remember what I used to ink this piece. I think I might have actually gotten like a pen set, like a fountain pen set, and I think that might be what I used to ink this, because there are some pretty fine, crisp lines in here, along with like some like thick lines to just like outline the character more or less. But if you are able to like look deep into some of these details, they're just like really like neat and clean and just really crisp, and like more or less like the only lines you can achieve with a little like one of those fountain like dipping pens. And the reason I bought these pens is because like I know like manga artists like tend to utilize them, but a lot of them are going digital nowadays. But I'm just really a big fan of like the traditional medium, and just like keeping everything traditional. And like, yeah, even though I've had like Photoshop for a while now, I just very much prefer doing things in the tangible format of just drawing pen and pencil on paper. And it just makes it feel that much more real. And on digitally, like I just it doesn't have that aspect to it where you can just like physically hold it in your hand, or just like look at it with your naked eye. Like with digitally, you need a monitor to look at artwork, and that's kind of like a somewhat of a disparity in between just enjoying the artwork and just having like the artwork in front of you. And with digital, it's like you got like this other middleman you have to go through of just like having to click on a piece, upload it, or download it and just view it on a monitor or something. But that's just me, I guess. I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but that's my whole take on just being a traditionalist when it comes to art. And I would if I could, just make traditional animations. Like if I had, like I have a lot of animation paper here, and I'm planning to utilize it sometime soon. But if I had like a lunchbox, a lot of you might not know what that is, but a lot of the animators who stumble across this will know exactly what I'm talking about. A lunchbox is a device that animators use to like just go from page to page, like lay down a page, take a picture, lay down the next page, take a picture. And the lunchbox, this machine stores all that data, and it has all these buttons with the stop, play, step forward, step backward buttons, so you can like preview your animation as you're like taking photos of it. And it also utilizes like well, not in a way utilizes the whole like animating in ones, twos, or threes. Now, these are all like animation terms that a lot of you might not understand, but the animators out there who understand what I'm talking about will like know where I'm coming from. Just animating ones, twos, and threes. Like the lunchbox help you do all of that, and I would if I could buy one, but they run about. Last time I checked, it was like $5,000 or so, and that was like for the low end one. And I haven't even checked in the recent years. I don't even know if they make them anymore because everything's just so digital nowadays. But anyway, that's that used to be something on my wish list, is to get a lunchbox just so I can keep the animation and everything just like so, like just really traditional. And yeah, it's just one of my things. Ah, sweet. There's a little design for a shark that I used in a casino game, and it was a shark animation. It's like the shark here would pop up out of the water and then he'd chomp down, and like if he chomped down on your player would be out of this like little out of this little race. And it was a surfing game that we kind of covered like a couple of videos back or so. But yeah, he was a cool shark with sunglasses. But in the design process or the production process, the some of the aspects of the game were changed. So like the shark never actually bit any of the players or like tossed them out of the race, because there were like things like there are certain rules you have to follow when making casino games, and one of those rules is that like if a player is playing a bonus game, you can't have them lose in a harsh manner or something like that. I don't know. It was a ridiculous rule for me, but those were one of the lines that we had to tread, and it really sucked because I wanted to like animate like the surfers just like as they're surfing along, and when the shark comes out and chomps on them, it would like take a big bite out of their surfboard, and like the surfers would kind of go flipping in the air and splash into the wave. But that idea never saw the light of the day. And all this guy does in the background is just come out of the water and just do a few chomps, and he disappears, and he never actually interacts with the players at all. But yeah, that's the story behind this guy. And here's another manga-esque drawing. There's a young girl character wearing a scarf, and she's somewhat Frankensteined, as you can possibly see there, with the stitch across her face. Could be an interesting story there. And just these belts on her pants, and three-eyed demon here. More furry-esque type drawings. Now, I guess, like I've said before, like I was drawing furry characters before I even knew what the furry fandom was. And I was introduced to that sometime in the year, maybe, well, in the late 2000s, I'd say. But drawing some of these sketches and characters, it's like I was drawing furry art without even knowing that what furry art was. I guess in a way I knew it existed, but I just didn't know what it was called. Some more random doodles. Sometimes I just like to draw like serious eyes and faces, just to convey some sort of emotion, like the eyes are the windows of the soul and such. I kind of like this guy. He's a pretty neat looking maybe an alien type character. Could call him a reptilian or something. I'm kind of wary because I don't screen these sketchbooks before I present them, and I drew like a lot of erotic content back in the day, but due to my restrictions, I'm not allowed like pornographic material, even though it's pornographic drawings that I myself drew. It's like I think my sister went ahead and took all the adult sketchbooks. So sadly, for these sketchbook tours, I won't be presenting those because I had my sister put them away just to keep them and my freedom safe. Because um, as some of us know, it's like the government's willing to throw me back in prison for any minute, like arbitrary reason. So it's a constant like struggle, a daily worry that oh no, did I step out of line today? I'm not sure. Like I guess I'll find out when they slap those cuffs on me. I don't know. It's stressful, and I do feel like this whole registration and lifetime supervision bull crap is very punitive, and that's also unconstitutional. But unfortunately, the law and the government don't see it that way. But hopefully, in the time to come, like things will begin to turn around. Anyway, just a few. I don't know what I'm thinking. Like when I draw some of these things, like here's a sketch of a dude, and he's just crying. I'm a white son of a bitch. Sniff. And this guy's saying, "Yes, you are. You blackhead. It's some days you got it, some days you don't." I guess I'm referring to maybe this sketch because it's very wonky. Oh, hey. Okay. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to edit that out too. But another female character is like a barbarian chick with like some pretty snazzy like a pretty snazzy gauntlet with retractable claws on it. Cool looking shield. But her proportions are off too, and that's something I can like observe nowadays. Like just learn. Like this is before I learned how to be objective about my art, and just learn to look at my artwork with an analytical like eye and not be so attached to it. And that's the only way you can like teach yourself to be better is just you have to be your own critic, and sadly, well, not sadly, it's like you have to more more or less disparage yourself. It's like you can never think your artwork is good enough, because once you start thinking that, you begin to plateau, and then you begin to just get stuck in that style or just that quality. So yeah, I've advanced far beyond like when this sketchbook was drawn in, but just showing a lot of you my process on how I got to where I'm at now. Ah. And that's just by doing like a lot of like muscle anatomy studies, and just having some anatomy books. I actually have got some areolas there. I don't know if that really counts because they're really sketchy, but you know what? I'll just cover them up just to be safe. Just more female figure drawings. A few random face doodles. Freaky evil guy. Shadow demon or whatever. Here's that high school comic strip character that I had. I like drew these comic strips in high school and released them. I think it was like, oh, I can't remember. Think it was a bi-weekly newspaper. I honestly can't remember. Was it bi-weekly or monthly? Shoot. Well, anyway, this was one of the characters. I had two comic strips running in the high school newspaper. Not only was I the cartoonist, journalist, I was also like one of the chief editors. And being a chief editor and journalist, like I still had enough time. I still found enough time to write two like comic strips. And this one, I can't remember what the comic strip was called, but this character's name is Shazbet. And the other comic strip was about these two high school kids, and that strip was called School Days. Days spelled Daze. And yeah, I used to draw this character a lot. Like I was always planning to just try to like bring him into the animated world, and I even started an animation like shortly after graduating high school, just hoping to just bring him to the Newgrounds pages. And when I was out of high school, like Newgrounds, I don't know when the site started, but I found it shortly after graduating, and it was like one of those awesome sites that I kept perusing just because it had like hilarious games and just funny animated content, but mostly for the adult pages and the adult animations like creators would come out with. And some of them pretty sexy, some of them pretty silly, and some of them were just like downright absurd, but still had some pretty exciting kinkiness to it. But anyway, yeah, like this character I wanted to like continue, but just never got the chance because just too busy trying to make a living. Here's a red-faced demon guy. You got the welding helmet and the guy shooting two guns, one behind his back. And this guy's saying, "Hey, now, if you keep shooting randomly like that, you're going to hurt somebody. Keep going. Hey, boss, some guy out here wants the word with you." Yeah. Doot, doot, doo. Just just random doodles and sketches, playing around with the pen here. Character poses, shoes, like kind of got in the habit of just like drawing random things that I had issues with. And like one of the things I had trouble drawing was just shoes. Feet too, like drawing shoes and feet, or shoes around feet. It was just pretty difficult. No, okay, I remember this. This is like a small doodle of myself because for winter, back when I had to go back up to Utah for my Christmas breaks in college, like it would just be so cold up there. So I would just really bundle myself up. Now what I'm wearing is a beanie, like a wool knit beanie, just a pair of like sunglasses, um, bandana. And I wore this bandana like in a specific way just because it had that skull right on the corner there. So it would just be like I'd have the skull like right on my over my mouth. And then under that, like I think there was like a little bit of a scarf, and then I had like layers of jackets just to keep me warm, and it kept me pretty toasty. I love those jackets. That's oh man, that's why I love jackets and I love layering up. But living in Las Vegas, I can't layer up anymore, and I feel just so insecure. Like wearing like multiple layers of jackets was like my security blanket back in like high school and college. College, yeah. Just sometimes I say certain words with a weird accent at random times. I don't know. It happens every time when I go to like a restaurant to order a glass of water, because I'll say it water. Yeah, I'll have a glass of water. Yeah, just give me a glass of water for now. I'll have water. It was a barbarian sketch. Barbarian babe. Oh man, these drawings are so bad. Okay, there's a funny story behind this guy. There's like a character drawn from uh, a guy who was relaying to me a story about somebody he knew. So this little character is based on this what this guy knew, and he told me the story specifically, and like he would pronounce like these words like a certain way, like he would say pushti and wishti, and just went on the story about trying to get some pushti while drinking whiskey, whiskey. And he made some like notes, and I wrote them down. He needs overalls and a flannel shirt. So like this, like pretty. He was pretty much saying that this character is spot on, but the person he knew wore overalls and a flannel shirt. So I was pretty close. And I think we'll just end this sketchbook tour for like here for right now, just because we're at that 20-minute mark. And we'll just continue the sketchbook. Hopefully we'll finish this one in the next session. So we'll just end it here and just see if we can finish it next Tuesday. I'm sorry this video is a day late. I know it's Wednesday. My birthday, by the way. Woo! Guess who's 35? Me. But just been, I guess, pretty busy just making animations and content, and just trying to keep my mind off of like multiple stressors that I have. And I'm doing a pretty good job at it, keeping the outside world at bay and stop them from like invading my mind, and just keep myself in my little box here in my room and just draw my own like personal heaven. But yeah, if you like this video, go ahead, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section below. If you want to support more videos like this and support more artistic content from me, like become one of my Patreon patrons, and go ahead and visit my Patreon. I'll leave the link in the description section below. Check it out. If you like what you see, then click that become a patron button. And if you want to just stay in the loop as to like my videos and my release of video content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, and just stay tuned and continue watching the train wreck. Yeah, oh yeah. And I'll also leave a link to my blog in case those who stumble across my videos want to see what's up with me and what my life story is. It'll be there. And for those who aren't into Patreon, or whatever, if you want to donate, I also have a GoFundMe account, so I'll also leave that link down there. And if you want to get in contact with me, I'll also leave some of my various websites up, so you can either message me or I guess find a way to email me or something. I don't know. But yeah, all of that will be in the section below, and I'll check you guys later. Cool.